Okay, what do we know about Brazil? Mostly the Amazon rainforest. It's about the size of the United States. I think they speak Portuguese. Um, Someone wants to say the people are gorgeous. The people in Brazil are gorgeous. Um, let's see. Mm, I don't know very much about Brazil. It's a long way from where I am, and I've never been there. I'm kind of sorry, that I haven't been to a lot of these places in this world. Um, I'm generally unable to answer people who keep telling me, you maybe should travel. I keep looking at people and saying, do you know how much it costs to travel on this planet? I said, well, spend some money. Do you know how much money it costs to go and travel the world? Well, people in their 20s from Australia go walkabout. Mm, Usually they go to countries where they can do work and travel. In other words, they don't have to save up a whole pile of money. But the Australian plan, then where they go to British Commonwealth countries, they're only allowed to work until they're age 25. And as you can see, the gray in my beer, the gray in my beer. This is the beer. Gray in my beard. I'm over 25. So unfortunately, I can't go walk about through the British Commonwealth, which means, my mother said, well, you could go and stay in a hostel. Well, I have no problem staying in hostels, but still, if you're going to go travel the world and stay in hostels, you still have to, go from here to there, and it's still expensive. For me to go from here to Brazil, um, one of my friends went from Vancouver, Canada, on a motorcycle to what is it? Below Brazil, Argentina. I think he went all the way as far as you could go in South America and back on a motorbike. So I'm going to say it is possible to do things like that. I don't know how much money he spent, but he did do that. So, but that's a hell of a long time to spend on a motorcycle. Otherwise, you're going to have to fly, and it's expensive to fly. So, what's the whole point of this? The whole point of this is our world is really a beautiful, beautiful world full of interesting places to go, but only if you're pretty well off. Well, maybe you should get. Well, no, that's not the point. The point is there's a whole pile of people on this planet, billions of people who cannot afford to enjoy this planet. Someone says that's just the way it is. I'm saying no. That's the way it is, but that's not the way it could be. We have been brainwashed into the idea, so many brainwashings, but the main idea is we're always going to have people who are too poor. It's their own fault. Maybe they, were born into a poor country, but, it's not my issue. And for me, it's like, it is your issue. It is your issue. Why? Because if you don't change your mind about what's possible, then your grandchildren and your great grandchildren are going to have the same world we have today, where, oh, good God, I don't really want to go too far into it, but, the haves and the have nots. And it's mostly, if you look at the world population, it's mostly have nots. It doesn't have to be this way. And who's going to change it? Well, if we don't change it, then it's going to the next generation, next generation. In other words, why don't we start changing it? It's too hard to change it. That's what I think when I'm driving around town. It's too hard for me to go and, talk to all the people in my city, never mind the world, to change. It's not a good enough reason to refuse to change, refuse to imagine a different kind of world. What does it hurt to imagine change? A different world. Yes, we've got a million reasons why we can't change. But we're supposed to pass the world on to the next generation in better shape than the world we inherited from the previous generation. In other words, while we're here, we, the collective we, are supposed to get busy making things better. So don't say we can't change. It's too hard, costs too much money. The 1% own everything and we can't make any changes because they are our bosses. I'm sorry, I don't accept that. What are you changing? I am changing everything in my imagination. I'm not afraid to go and look at other people's imaginations for a different kind of world. In fact, I really enjoy, reading or watching videos about people who want to make a better world, rather than turning on mainstream news every night and just seeing the same shit that they put on every night. So, don't listen to the mainstream. Don't listen to your government politicians. Those fucking people need to be locked up because they don't want change. They are bought and sold for corrupt corporations. So I'm sorry, and in political change, if I have my way, we're going to scrap countries altogether and we're going to scrap governments altogether because these people, I'm sorry if you're a politician or you're a government worker, I'm sorry, but you're part of the problem. Someone says, well, all I do is I drive heavy equipment and I move snow. Well, then you're not really so much the problem. But the administrators are the deep state, but it's mostly just administrators because deep state sounds like conspiracy theory. No, it's the administrators, the managers, the interns, the people who do what are we going to do next year for our budget. These people are the biggest problem we have because they don't report to the public. They just present their findings to be rubber stamped by the politicians, who supposedly we elect, but they never make us happy because they're all corrupt or stupid. If they're not corrupt, the smart ones are corrupt because they know there's people who are going to give them money if they, go the way of the people with the money. But there's the stupid ones. The stupid ones, they don't have to be bought and paid for. They're just stupid. They're just stupid. They have no imagination. And it's the Peter principle. You rise to the level of your own incompetence. Well, there's a lot of incompetence, so there's a lot of Peter principle. So I want to scrap all that. It's all too bureaucratic. It's too far removed from you and I. Well, don't worry. Don't worry. There's a lot of brain power, a lot of brilliant people and young people, brilliant young people. Because a lot of the old people my age, I seeing them, they're already starting to retire. And what do they want to do in their retirement? They basically want to go find a couch and sleep for 30 years. They're exhausted by the world as it is. They're totally exhausted. Now, some of my friends are completely gray. What does it mean? They're burned out. They really need to take 30 years to recover from living in the world as it is. But don't lose heart. Open your eyes and look for, if you can't imagine a new way, then, you know, go to your library and go to the new book section and just browse and look for things that look like change, new ways of. Don't look at the. I mean, some of the stuff is totally based upon the old ways of doing things. You got to be looking for things that are novel. Well, maybe they are in novel. Maybe some of the ideas, the good ideas, are in novels or sci-fi. But either we do things the old-fashioned way, and look what happens. We get so frustrated. Most of the commentary that I see on bulletin boards, in other words, like Facebook groups and things, is people fighting Democrat versus Republican or liberal versus conservative. That's dumb. You're never going to get anywhere, joining the seesaw of left versus right. So, it's just both sides have been tried. Capitalism is tried, and it's made a very small number of people filthy rich and everyone else their slave. Socialism has been tried, and what happens with that? Well, you have the example of socialism as the Soviet Union, former what Russia used to be called, and it failed. It failed. Even when it was operating, it failed. The people were unhappy. They had shoddy goods, and they had secret police always watching them. It wasn't freedom, and it collapsed, and so it doesn't work either. But this is basically what we keep talking about. Either you're going to go more capitalist, or you're going to go more socialist. And this has been going on and on. We have to get out of this. There's no solution in these formats, these theologies, because they are religions. The religion of free enterprise versus the communalism on the other side. No, 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 no. Because you can't get beyond it. There's no room. It's already been. The philosophies already exist, and they don't work. So scrap them both. We need something new. And how do we get something new? We just have to look for it. Be inspired. I just laugh at this one because, this guy's happy. He's drunk, but he's happy. I'm not encouraging people to get really drunk, but be happy, and, if you want to enjoy. I'm not going to encourage people to get drunk because, generally speaking, drunk people just get into trouble. They don't get inspired. So I don't like booze. Yes, I had a lot of years of drinking beer before I quit drinking beer. It's true. Some people might say, well, I want my chance to go, drink for a while. You gotta get underwhelmed by just walking into the bar and looking at the drunk people. You don't need to see too many drunk people and the shit storms that they cause before you realize, well, getting drunk every weekend doesn't do anybody good. It makes you fat. It makes you dumb. It gets you in trouble. Someone wants to talk about other things. I don't really want to get you inspired by Silicon Valley microdosing LSD or, Cheech and Chong getting stoned all the time. But microdosing LSD or smoking a bit of weed is way better for you than getting super drunk.